My number, 1-800-375-2872. I'm Dr. Laura Schlesinger, welcoming you to this hour of the program right here on Sirius XM Triumph 111. You are here. You are not alone. You are here with Dan and B, screening your calls. The amazing Carson Smith, engineering, orchestrating our music, producing the segues. The number, 1-800-Dr. Laura, 1-800-375-2872. Valerie, welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Laura. Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm calling today about my husband. So we've had some trouble in our relationship the past 8 years. He has anger issues. In general, I would say it has trended better in recent years. He doesn't have as many outbursts. He seems to have calmed down a bit. The house is calmer at this point. However, the big remaining issue, and so we have one child still at home. She's 16. The other two are already out of the house. There's one still at home. And so the fact that it's calmer, I'm glad about that. But the part that is hurting me still is I feel, well, I'm trying to find out if there's a way I can break this pattern. I believe that he bullies me for sex. Basically, if he doesn't get it when he wants it, he is mean. He's mean to me. It's not always yelling. It can be sulking, silent treatments, storming off, not telling me where he's going, snapping at me, teasing, like mean teasing. And sometimes he just drinks too much. Sometimes he does. Yes.
Does your remaining 16-year-old daughter see this?
She'll know. She has no idea what it's about. But she knows he's in a mood.
My question is, does she see this behavior? Sorry, I should have worded it better.
Yes, and she knows, like, all three of the kids.
And how does this, ma'am?
Yes.
You have participated in abusing your children by allowing them for decades to see him abusing you.
Okay.
You can't escape that. You've permitted this.
Okay.
I think it's child abuse to have parents doing this and the children know. This is abusing your kids. So perhaps you are not wise. I mean, it's kind of late in the game, but you are not wise to allow this to continue or to allow him to be in the home to do this.
Well, I should back up a little bit. If I could back up a little bit.
Shall we start the call from the beginning so you put the important thing in first?
Well, no. Okay. Here's what I will say. Most of the time, like I would say 99% of the time, I just give in. Like if he wants it, I know in order to avoid that. That's how I should have started. I'm sorry. 99% of the time.
That doesn't change anything I've said. Now you're being raped.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. No, thank you. It's so confusing. And so the things he says confuses me. I love, I won't go into it, but he says things that confuse me and I feel like it's my fault. If you say I'm being raped, that's how I feel. And so I do it to keep the peace in the house, and I've done it for years. It's just in the past few months I realized this is hurting me and it's not right. Even though it's confusing, it feels like it's not right. And so I started trying to talk to him about it. And I should have started this way. In the past few months, that's when the behavior has flared up. Usually I throw the sex just to get it all to calm down and everything goes back to normal. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to stop feeding into this pattern and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to work on breaking the pattern. But as it turns out, there's only one of us who's interested in breaking the pattern. And so his behavior has escalated in recent months just because I'm like, you're doing it again. You're being mean to me, and this isn't right.
Valerie,
Yes.
He's not going to give up the power. You have to get him out of the house.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's very confusing to be in this situation because it's not bad all the time. it's just,
It's not
it's
bad
very
all the
confusing.
time because you cater to it. There's nothing
Yes.
confusing here. He's a predator and you are the prey, and you've kept it that
Okay.
way all these decades.
Thank you. It
And
has.
for-
That's the other weird part. For 8 years, it's been so weird. For 8 years, at the beginning of our marriage, he didn't want to have sex at all, and I thought that was weird. But I was young, and I thought, well, okay, that's the way. I thought, okay, and I would have to like ask him for it once a month, and once a month he would do it. Then for 8 years, it was normal, like just kind of, I would say normal. We were both like happy. For the past 8 years, it's been this, and
Would you agree? Well, you said he's always had anger issues.
Well, they have escalated. They in the past, I would say.
So
in
when
the
you were
beginning of our
dating,
marriage,
how did his anger issues show when you were dating? How did,
once
how
in
did
a
they
while,
show then?
he would snap. It wasn't all the time.
Show when you were dating. How
Once
did
in a
they
while,
show then?
He would snap. It wasn't all the time.
Sweetheart,
And-
because something is
Yeah.
not all the time doesn't make
Yeah.
it better. So stop
Right.
saying that. That's your way
It's
of
just
trying
gotten
to
so much
push
worse.
it under the... Please don't talk over me because I can't hear you and you can't hear me.
Okay.
That's what you have always said to make it be okay. So you wouldn't have to really
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Irrelevant. How often? Once a day, once a week. It's irrelevant.
Okay.
So you decided to marry him because... Why?
Well, at the time, I thought I loved him. I was 20. I mean, I did, for what a 21-year-old knows of love, I thought we were in love.
What did you
He
love?
thought we
What
were in
did you
love.
love about him? What did you love about him?
At the time, we had fun together. We would go to movies. We would, we had similar interests. We would,
You're
Yeah.
right. At 20, you call that love. I call it friendship.
yes. Yeah.
Why? Okay. All right. I think you ought to get an attorney and have him out of the house. And at some
Okay.
point, you're going to need to go to counseling with all three of your kids, if I got the number right, because you're
Yeah.
going to have to explain what happened and why you stayed for it. Because I think that will improve the relationship over the years with all three of your kids.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they had to witness stuff that they should not have had to see. I
Yeah,
don't want your
that's
daughter
true.
thinking this is how a wife functions.
Oh, gosh,
And
no.
that's how-
No.
Well, if you tolerate, then you give permission.
It has, all I can say is that what has happened has been insidious.
Yes, very.
It was not always like this, and it just slowly builds insidiously. And so at the beginning, you just think this is a good person who's going through a rough time, and at some point you realize I don't think that's accurate. I don't think this is a good person going through a rough time. I think something
Right.
is really wrong,
Right.
but you hang on to that hope. And again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like all emotional, but I felt raped, and it's very confusing when you're in a relationship and you have somebody spinning things in a certain way. Well, no, I love you, and you're not showing love if you don't do this. And
That's called, okay, stop for a second.
yes,
That's not love, that's manipulation.
I thought so.
You were right.
I thought so.
You wanted to
needed-
believe you were wrong because you don't want to lose your family. I get why women do this. But it's so
Right,
frustrating
right.
to keep hearing it day after day because you
Yeah.
put yourself through holy hell, and unfortunately the kid's with you. This is manipulation, not love.
Yeah. And, okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, based on what I've told you, which is as accurately as I can describe it, you don't think that there's nothing I can do on my end to try to break the pattern successfully. I mean, I know it takes
If one
two
person,
people to make
if
this
one
function.
person is committed, if two people are dancing and one person is committed, refusing to make any change with ballet,
Yeah.
and the other
Right.
person is committed to hip hop,
Right.
how can they dance together? Neither one
Yes.
is good. You changed, and you did ballet.
Yeah. Right.
How did that work out for you?
Right. As I've mentioned in the past
Yes.
few months, his behavior has escalated. The behavior
Don't-
has
Okay,
escalated.
stop talking about it to anybody except the attorney you're going to get.
Yeah. Okay. I
Don't
signed
talk
up-
about this to anybody
Yeah. Got it.
who could talk
I
to
signed up
him.
for legal benefits through my work, so I
Good.
just kind of, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can't thank you enough because you confirmed there. It's so confusing. I thought I knew. You confirmed
At the next
what
light, turn
I
left.
thought I knew, but I kept trying to look. I just kept trying to find something to believe in. You know.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
At the light, turn left onto Paula
Chase,
Mission Road.
welcome to the program.